So how's it going, everybody? I just sitting by the beach right now. Just got back from my 10-day silent Vipassana meditation retreat. And yeah, holy shit. I'll start it off like that. Sorry if I'm a little bit scruffy right now. I was going to wait till I got in the door at home and showered and shaved and dressed up, and it didn't feel very authentic, and I didn't want to wait, so I just said, fuck it, here I am, scruffy. I did shower for 10 days, but I didn't shave. I'm still blown away by the experience, so I'm not sure how this is going to come out, but I just had to just kind of share a few gems. So basically, one thing I'll say is that I've done a lot of personal work in the last 10 years of my life, a decade. I hired a life coach, worked with her for a year and a half, went to at least a dozen workshops in personal development and spirituality and business, read at least 100 books, again, same thing, personal development and psychology, spirituality, and I've done medicine journeys, I've done sweat lodges, I've worked with a wonderful business coach and life coach alongside of her. The list goes on. And yet, all of that, I wouldn't say pales in comparison, but doesn't necessarily meet the level of depth that I just went through in the last 10 days. In terms of true, concrete, internal work to really free myself from fears and anxieties and stresses and the clinging and just normal stuff that everyone goes through day to day. We don't really think that there can be freedom from this. We learn how to, if we're lucky, we learn how to deal with and mitigate and manage these things, but not necessarily how to free ourselves from that, because we've never met anybody who's free from these things and don't believe that it's possible. The outside circumstances may not change, and we still have challenges and difficulties, and yet we can literally free ourselves from our reaction to them, from the pain, and live in a place of true freedom, true joy, true happiness. And I didn't come back with any magic words of advice, nothing perfect. The only thing I came back with was a wisdom that they give you and literally a particular practice. And from that, over time, you can get to a place that is free from fear, anxiety, and like I said, the clinging and always having to go after something. You know, a lot of people, especially in my life, you know, growing up, a lot of people were unhappy that I was surrounded by growing up in a difficult neighborhood. And, you know, I've done some traveling and seen difficult situations, and I've been in some myself. And so I know that there can be struggle and tragedy and real hardship out there. And then I currently find myself in a very fortunate circle where a lot of people are developed spiritually and mentally and emotionally, and very strong individuals and intelligent and wise and so helpful and beautiful people. And in both circles, sometimes we can fool ourselves to thinking that we're happy, and really we're just distracted. I realize now that even as happy as I have been almost my whole life, I'm pretty fortunate to just be a relatively happy person. Even through my bouts of depression that lasted a long time, I had this foundation of knowingness inside, and I always, you know, came out the other side pretty clear and usually much, much better. And still I realize now that we think we have happiness, and the reality is that we have pockets of happiness followed by frustration, pocket of happiness followed by anger, pocket of happiness followed by hatred, annoyance, whatever it is. You know, we're happy until someone cuts in front of us at Starbucks. We're happy until someone runs into our car. We're happy until we get dumped. We're happy until we have a craving for chocolate and fuck, someone ate the last piece. We're happy until we step on the scale. We're happy until the list goes on, until we're hungry. And then we can't even wait till lunchtime. We have to develop new words called hangry. I'm hungry and I'm angry. We're so miserable that we have to invent words to describe that we're not just angry or hungry, we're hangry. We can't even make it to our next fucking meal without being miserable. Yet, if somebody asks you, are you happy? Generally say, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Not realizing that we're not really even sure or clear what true happiness is. And so this technique that I learned at the Vipassana meditation retreat basically dates back 2,500 years, 25 centuries. And it was practiced and learned by Siddha Gautama. And Siddha Gautama is the original name for Buddha as we know him. But what I kind of knew, but also learned even more in more detail, is that Buddha is just the name of a particular characteristic, which means enlightened. Anyone can be a Buddha. Jesus, a Buddha. You, a Buddha. I, a Buddha. And therefore, Buddha is just a characteristic. So the man who was a prince, and by the age of 35, he left all the worldly attachments and went out to seek enlightenment and truth, real truth. And by the age of 35, he discovered it, and he had tried so many other things and realized that there was one piece missing. And that's what this meditation technique teaches you, all the pieces leading up to it, in order to get true mastery over the mind, but then beyond that, to get true freedom from our fears, from our worries, scarcity and clinging, and just amazing. So I came back with the practice. That's it. When I was at the center, it was interesting to see that nobody was there with beads and rosaries. There was no statues, no dogma, no religion, completely non-secular, completely non-religious, no rites, beliefs, none of that. It was the most concrete, personal experience, scientific-based process I've ever had. Just normal people. The teacher at the class looked like dude in his mid-40s from the suburbs. White guy, glasses, regular Joe, button-up t-shirt. And so all of this was taught under a gentleman named Goenka, who has since passed away, but they show his video of when he was doing his teaching back in the day. And so you get the wisdom and you get the technique. And it was just, it was hard, obviously, very, very hard at times. And at times it was just so beautiful. And all you do basically is you sit in meditation and you put your attention and your awareness on the sensations in your body. A tingling in your shoulder, a twitch in your nose, a pinching in your head, a tickling on your foot, a sharp pain in your knee from sitting for an hour straight without moving. And you learn to experience these feelings in your body without attachment, without any judgment, without saying this feeling's wrong, this feeling's right, I like this feeling, I hate this feeling, without trying to run from this or run towards that, because that's how we spend our whole life. Running towards the house, running towards the husband, running towards the wife, running towards everything external, running towards the job, running towards the money, running towards the perfect physique, running towards something, or running away, running from the pain, running from the divorce, running from the scale, running from. We're either running to or running from, and rarely are we ever actually fucking experiencing anything, which truly being transmitted in our body. We think we're always experiencing what's external, outside of us. So some act happens, somebody does something to piss us off, and we react to it. But the truth is, what we're reacting to is the sensation that event made us feel. So something happens outside, and we hear it, so we react. Or we see it, so we react. We feel it, so we react. But if we were learn to just sit with the feeling, there wouldn't be any need to react. We could respond consciously and remain in a place of peace and joy and freedom at all times in our life. That's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And the fact that this technique has lasted over 2,500 years in its purity is also beautiful and mind-blowing, and it's available to everybody. And a few things I'll share. One, thank you, Malik Houlihan, my brother. I had heard about Vipassana years ago and thought it was just, you sit with your shit, basically. You sit for 10 days, silent, no technology, and you got to deal with whatever comes up. It's a lot more than that. So his encouragement to do it and his reminder is why I went. So thank you, Malik. Second, Vipassana is free. It's all donation-based. You go, your food is covered, your room and board is covered, the whole experience, free. There were people there who didn't even have rides back home, but they went without probably being able to donate financially, I don't know. But you can either donate in your service, you could donate a few bucks, $10, you could donate nothing and come back another time. You could donate at $5,000. Whatever you're capable of giving, they don't even allow you to pay anything until you leave, and then they allow you to make a donation to help with the cost for the next person's retreat. So you're always paying it forward. That alone deserves commendability, and yet they don't want any of it. They just want you to come and experience the technique. That's it. It's completely scientific based, completely logical, completely pragmatic. We talked about subatomic particles, the way the mind works, the way nature works, the way that we work because of nature, the way our mind works with our body. And that was it. It was scientific and pragmatic, and one of the best gifts I could have ever given myself. And so I encourage all who watch this. I'm learning to be more discerning, to not say, you need this, you need that. Everyone should go to this workshop. Oh my God, everyone should do friggin' Peak Potentials, Landmark. Everyone needs to read this book. Bullshit. That's not necessarily true. I'm realizing that. It's just my spirit. If I like something, I share it. But this is one thing, as I say that now, this is one thing I would encourage everyone to do. At least everyone who's looking for true joy and true freedom and true liberation in this lifetime, or at least in the next. Because it's a long road. Like I said, I didn't come back with any answers. Nothing's going to change overnight. But I feel so confident in what I gained in the last 10 days that I know it must produce results as long as I continue to practice it. So, as they say at the retreat center, may all of you have true joy, true freedom, true peace. Oh yeah, one more thing. Even in 10 days of meditation, completely silent, farts are still funny. I don't care. So may all beings have true freedom, true love, true peace. And I'm going to put a link to the Vipassana meditation retreat. There's centers all over the place, but I'll put a link to the main.org under here. I think I'm going to also link, there's an amazing song by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis called Vipassana. Apparently, I assume he's done the retreat because he wrote a song called Vipassana. I think that's why he wrote the song, but it sounds like it if you listen to the words, but it is badass. The song is just dope. So I'll put that song under here as well. If anyone has any questions, you can write me, call me, whatever. And, oh man, I just wish you peace, love, freedom. That's it.